So you're in the market for a new bike. You want it to be sporty and have that exhilarating feel and the thrilling roar of an inline-4 motor, but you only have 10 grand to spend. You're faced with a choice: the CBR 650R or the ZX4RR. Does buying the ZX4RR make sense when there's a CBR 650R that has a bigger engine for basically the same amount of cash? In this video, we are going to compare these bike specs head-to-head to see which one deserves your hard-earned money. In terms of power output, the bigger CBR 650R obviously takes the lead, boasting around 18 more horsepower than the ZX4RR. The CBR also churns out significantly more torque than the Ninja, a staggering 24 Nm, or 61% more than the ZX. On top of that, the CBR's power also kicks in much earlier than the Ninja, with peak power output achieved at much lower RPM. Judging by these numbers, it might seem that the CBR 650R is far more faster than the Ninja, with a significantly higher top speed. But if we take a look at the data, the CBR 650R has a top speed of 247 km/h, while on the other hand, the ZX4RR, despite having a 250cc smaller engine than the CBR, surprises us with an impressive top speed of 243 km/h. That's because the ZX4RR is much lighter than the CBR, weighing 19 kg less in curb weight, which narrows the power-to-weight ratio gap between them significantly. But ultimately, when it comes to power, the Ninja must admit defeat because, well, there is no replacement for displacement. The CBR 650R excels at various tests, whether at top speed test or pulling harder off the line. Under the skin, they share some similarities. Both are powered by a liquid-cooled, inline-4 flatplane, with a roughly 250cc difference in displacement. They have a similar bore-to-stroke ratio, and the Ninja has a 12.3:1 compression ratio, which is higher than the CBR. For the valve train, both utilize a double overhead cam, with 4 valves per cylinder. Then for the transmission, power is passed through a 6-speed wet multiplate clutch that comes with assist and slipper clutch. Beside that, for the ZX4RR, Kawasaki also gives it some special treatment with a molybdenum-coated piston, a crankshaft with light, flywheel mass, and progressive valve springs that contribute to its ability to reach an impressively high RPM redline. So in terms of performance, the CBR undeniably has the upper hand. But what about features? Can the Ninja step up and balance the scales? Both bikes come with standard dual-channel ABS brakes. Then, the ZX4RR is equipped with ride-by-throttle and riding modes, while the CBR lacks these features. Traction control is available on both bikes, and for quickshifter, Kawasaki offers bi-directional quickshifter as a standard feature for the ZX4RR, whereas for the CBR, it's an optional add-on for an extra $200 and lacks an auto blip or two. On top of that, ZX4RR seals its victory in this round with its TFT display that offers smartphone connectivity through the Kawasaki Radiology app, another feature you won't find on the CBR. Shifting our attention to the chassis, in terms of frame, Honda goes with a steel twin-spar frame, while Kawasaki opts for a cost-effective steel trellis frame. It's not the aluminum perimeter frame that we all hoped for from such a track-focused bike like the ZX4RR, but the good news is that it incorporates the same design parameters as their race bike, the ZX10RR, and features varying pipe thicknesses that give it a good combination of rigidity, balance, and weight distribution. The rake angle is also steeper, with overall geometry leaning towards a race-focused setup, and coupled with its lighter weight, the ZX4RR feels very agile and nimble. Front suspension duties on both bikes are handled by the same type of fork, the Showa SFFBP, or separate function fork, big piston. However, there is a slight difference in size, with the CBR having a slightly larger fork but missing the adjustable preload feature that the Ninja offers. At the rear, both feature linked monoshocks, but the ZX4RR again gets a fancier suspension, Showa BFRC gas-charged shock that has fully adjustable capability, while the CBR's shock can only be adjusted for preload. Up front, they are fitted with dual 4-piston radial mount calipers, with the CBR's calipers biting on discs that have a 20 mm larger diameter than the ZX. Then, in terms of dimensions, the CBR 650R has a more stretched wheelbase, measuring 70 mm longer than the Ninja. As for the seat height, both bikes offer fairly accessible seat heights that should provide a comfortable fit for most riders, with the CBR standing just 10 mm taller than the Ninja. For the front tire, they share a similar tire size, with a width of 120 mm, whereas for the rear, Honda goes for a wider 180 mm tire, which is well suited to handle the higher horsepower and torque of the CBR. On the other hand, the Ninja gets a narrower 160mm tire, offering less grip, but promoting easier handling and maneuverability. In terms of riding position, the CBR offers a more upright and comfortable setup with higher handlebars and lower foot pegs, which fits its category as a sport tourer or commuter. While the ZX4RR features a slightly more aggressive riding position, with lower clip-on bars and higher foot pegs, and a notably compact distance between the handlebars and the seat. However, it still leans towards a relaxed and sporty riding style, and is not as serious as a full-fledged supersport, like the ZX6R or Yamaha R6. Okay, so after going all through those specs, which one should you pick? If you prioritize power over anything else, then the CBR might be a better pick. With a larger engine, it outperforms the Ninja in every aspect of raw power, whether it's about bottom to mid-range grunt, a broad power band, or top speed. With such a significant horsepower advantage, the CBR also boasts a superior power-to-weight ratio. On the other hand, while the ZX cannot match the CBR in terms of power, it compensates with exceptional handling. Besides being 19 kilograms lighter in curb weight, the ZX4RR also features better suspension, with a wider range of adjustability settings, allowing you to fine-tune it your specific requirements, which is especially useful for riders that have a not-so-average weight. Furthermore, the ZX boasts Kawasaki's race bike geometry, which includes a sharper rake and a shorter wheelbase. It also has narrower tires and a more sporty riding position, making it more nimble, agile, and flickable, enabling it to carve through sharp corners with greater ease and speed. Another advantage that the ZX4RR has lies in its features. It offers more creature comforts, including ride-by-wire throttle, riding modes, a bidirectional quickshifter, and a modern TFT display with smartphone connectivity. On the other hand, the features available on the CBR are pretty basic, with traction control that lacks adjustability and can only be turned on or off, and even an upshift-only quickshifter is an optional add-on where you need to spend an extra $200. In my personal view, if you're in the market for a dedicated track bike, or you're ready to get more serious about racing or track days, and you feel that the Ninja 400 or RC390 no longer make the cut anymore, the ZX4RR could be a solid choice. It is more forgiving and less physically demanding than a supersport, and handles just like an entry-level sport bike, but it packs an extra punch in the top rev range, and comes with decently capable suspension. But, if you spend most of your riding time on the street, and are probably going to daily drive your bike, and maybe do an occasional track day on the weekend, the CBR 650R is probably the better choice for you. It has a more flexible engine and a wider power band, providing ample power across various RPM ranges, and making highway overtaking and maneuvering in traffic more effortless, without a lot of downshift and high revving your engine much. Also, pulling off the traffic light will be faster. On top of that, its ergonomics also puts less strain on your back and wrist, making those long journeys more bearable. But ultimately, I recommend taking these bikes for a test ride before making your decision, no matter what I or any reviewer says, because your personal experience and how the bike feels to you are essential factors in finding the perfect bike that matches your preferences and needs.